have this like gut feeling that she kind of has a crush on someone else.
Yeah?
Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. Okay, so suspicions were running super high on this week's episode of Vanderpump Rules, and once again, it's all about Tom. So what really happened at the Abbey, and why is Schwartz so fired up? Do we really think Tom and Ariana had an open relationship? We're going to share all of our hot takes. We are fresh off of last night's episode. But first, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news. I also wanted to shout out the sponsor of today's episode who gifted us with a delicious vegan sundae kit from Craig's, and that is Jelly Smack. So if you guys don't know, Jelly Smack helps video creators go bigger by taking them from one platform to many platforms, and that helps you reach new audiences and find new fans. So instead of posting across YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, you can just focus on one platform and let Jelly Smack handle the rest. It's so easy. If you're a creator, you can head on over to jellysmack.com or click the link below to learn more. Okay, so I think we need to start off with the scene where the Toms are at the food truck, because there was so much going on in this scene. And I couldn't help but think that they had almost rehearsed this before they filmed that day, because it was just too perfectly set up. You know, the Toms start talking about Raquel, and, you know, Tom Sandoval's like, you know, Raquel's so dope, and, you know, really talking highly of her. But Schwartz is almost putting a pin in the relationship the second that they start talking about it, basically saying they have no chemistry. And he has a gut feeling that she has a crush on someone else, which totally caught me off guard. Like, at this point, the affair has already begun. Schwartz supposedly knows about it. And basically, it's almost like Sandoval like planted this into the scene for him. Yes, I am so glad you said that it felt rehearsed, because that's what I thought too. And it was like, okay, so Schwartz is going to say, I have a gut feeling. No, buddy, you already know that they've hooked up at this point. And I don't know, I was kind of like curious to hear your thoughts on, like, do you think that after they wrapped that day, was Sandoval like, dude, you're getting too close with that comment about her having a crush on someone else? Like, or do you think that he told her to say that? Because for me, it was a little bit flying too close to the sun for him to say that. And you can kind of see Sandoval kind of like trying not to smile, but it looked like he was smiling on the inside. But that whole comment was just so odd to me. And it's just like, you guys are just lying. You're just liars. And that's why I'm wearing my Never Trust a Tom shirt again, or sweatshirt again today, because the lies that came out of his mouths during this episode were just astounding. I am with you. I think it was all completely set up. I think the Toms had a plan going into this scene. Sandoval was like, you're going to say that you're not into Raquel, and, you know, she's kind of maybe into someone else to like deter the focus, I think, to deflect. That's what they always do. So that was my take on it. And I think that when they start talking about Ariana, that is also rehearsed, because it's kind of piggybacking off of the Raquel thing. You know, it's kind of setting the tone for Tom and Ariana's relationship. And it's kind of just too perfect that they go from talking about Raquel to talking about Ariana just so effortlessly and seamlessly, to kind of cover all their bases. Yeah, and not only talking about Ariana, but talking specifically about how he is not fulfilled in the relationship, and it, you know, making it seem like he's trying so hard and he works on their love, but, you know, she doesn't reciprocate. And it's like, okay, so you're giving one example where like you bring her a latte every morning and she doesn't bring you something. It's like, that is, to dumb down a relationship of 10 years to that is just like so infuriating. And I'm like, you guys, but he's clearly setting the stage for, you know, him to like he's trying to make us think that Ariana's not as great as we all think she is.
Yet Raquel is so dope and such a cool person. I love spending time with her. So at this point, I think that the Toms are totally in it together. They have a plan of how this season is going to go down. And I think this is just the beginning of us seeing that.
But then it's so frustrating because, they're saying this in one scene. In the next scene, they're going to the fertility clinic so that Sandoval can get his jizz results. And the PS side note, that's the fertility clinic that I went to in LA. And I was like, oh, I've been there. Different doctor, but same clinic. And, so he's stringing Ariana along and making her think that he's interested in fertilizing her eggs and creating embryos. Yet he's hooking up with Raquel. He's saying that, he's not happy and, maybe they're not right for each other. And it's like, I just have a hard time with his narrative now where he's going around on Howie Mandel and whatever saying like, I was trying to break up with her and like I was trying to tell her that I wasn't happy and she wasn't hearing it. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I can see a little bit of it, but on the other hand, your actions, you going and having your sperm checked to fertilize her eggs is showing something different. So like, you're not fooling me, Tom.
No, he's not fooling me either. And I don't know, it kind of seems like he's not fooling a lot of the other people, maybe besides Sheena, because, as we saw in last week's episode, Allie is on to him. So we get this scene where Allie and Sheena kind of meet up for lunch. And I guess Sheena like hasn't heard the Abby story yet for some reason. I don't know. I guess she didn't hear about it at Lala's party or something, but Allie kind of tells her the story about what she saw at the Abbey. And it's almost like this game of telephone, though, because Allie is now kind of giving off this, idea that Tom and Ariana have an open relationship because of something that Katie said. And we learn later that is not what Katie said. She does clarify it. But I mean, Sheena's like astounded. She's like, Ariana's my best friend. This is the first I'm hearing about an open relationship. So obviously, I think we can stop that in its tracks here.
Yeah, so we kind of get to the origin of this open relationship rumor, and it turns out you're right. It was just like a big game of telephone. And, Allie repeated what Katie said, and then James kind of interpreted it, and James wasn't there. And so, it sort of just kind of spun into that. And I don't think Allie had any ill intent, but like, I think that's what happens. And Sheena kind of clarifying like, Tom Sandoval and Ariana are like my best friends. And I've never heard anything about this. But she also interestingly says that she would trust Brock, going to the Abbey with Raquel at 1 a.m. She would trust Brock in bed with Raquel. And I was like, where you might lose me on that one. Not sure. I mean, even if you trust your man implicitly, like I still think it's inappropriate. And she's maintaining that Sandoval and Brock are like big brothers to Raquel, and like it's not like that. It's not how it looks.
Yeah, she is doubling down. Like, who the hell would trust another woman? I mean, it would just be weird. Like, why would another woman or your friend be in bed with your significant other in the first place? What scenario would that happen at all? So, like, why even bring that up? Why even use that as an example? And now we have all of these rumors about Brock and Raquel. Like, it's insane that these words are coming out of Sheena's mouth. And all I could think about when Sheena was saying this is hindsight is 20/20. Tom Sandoval said it best. I'm sure Sheena is watching this back and cringing so hard because we think that Ariana and Tom are like having Raquel's back. Sheena is on another level. She has this girl's back. She is a ride or die friend, as she's showing and as she says, and it only like bit her in the ass at the end.
I know. It's kind of rough to watch. So, side note here, What are your thoughts on Allie? Like, I really like Allie, but, we found out recently that she has been on another reality TV show back in like 2014 or something. And so that made me raise my suspicions a little bit. Like, is she here for the right reasons, to use a Bachelor universe term?
So that is up for debate. However, do I like her? Yes. I think I have, it can be both ways, because at first I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know. She kind of just seems like she's inserted herself, into this group kind of on purpose. And, James' mom said that, oh, she didn't like, this wasn't set up, but yet she went to James Kennedy's show to meet him, and they started a relationship after that. But I don't know. She's kind of growing on me. She does seem authentic. I am kind of into her like whole spiritual, astrological vibe. I don't know. She's growing on me. Like every episode, I like her more and more. I don't know if it's just because she was the official Sandoval whistleblower, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. And I do, it seems like she calls James out on his shit, at least some of the time, which I appreciate. And she is not afraid to walk away when he's being an idiot. So I appreciate that from her. And I thought it was very genuine when she, in her confessional in this episode, said like, he's telling me that he's over Raquel, but like his actions are saying otherwise. And so like, I kind of don't know what to believe. I thought that was kind of a vulnerable and honest moment that I appreciated, because it's like, okay, well, at least she realizes it, at least she's not just oblivious to all of this that's happening, where, James hears the name Raquel and like flies off the handles.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so beach day. We get to James's beach day. I'm not quite sure why it's James' beach day. And, he wants to get everyone together. He doesn't want anyone to be excluded. So he does invite Raquel, which I do think is a nice gesture.
Yeah, and they all get there. And I have to shout out the editors once again, because they did this like Top Gun inspired beach scene where the guys were playing football. And it just like made me laugh, because the music, the slow motion, and then we see Schwartz like totally and literally drop the ball. I mean, these boys cannot play football. It could not be more opposite than the abs and the muscles that we got on Top Gun. It was just chef's kiss.
You're so right. I did not catch that at first, but that's exactly what they were doing when the music was kind of reminiscent of it. You're so right. So we have some special guests at this beach party, one of them being the Don, and the other being our friend Satchel. And
let's talk about Satchel.
Let's talk about Satchel, because we did not get a chance to talk about Satchel last week. There was just too much going on. But this week we need to talk about Satchel. I am just so confused, because Katie has traded Tom Schwartz, a man-child, for what seems to be a literal child. Like, he looks so young to me. I'm like, she said he's 25. I'm like, he is barely 18. Like, he just seems so young. He seems so like unsure of himself. There is zero sexual energy coming from him, yet he's obsessed with like touching her and looking at her. And I guess maybe he's just giving her the attention that she never had with Schwartz, and that's what she's into. But it is so, it's wild to me. Like, I would have never, same as Schwartz, he said it, like, there's a lot of men that, I could have pictured Katie being with, and Satchel is not one of them.
Satchel is not one of them. They are one of the oddest couples I have ever seen on Bravo. I don't get it. I personally am not attracted to Satchel. I'd like to know if anybody else out there is attracted to Satchel. Please let us know in the comments, because I'm just wondering what it is about him. I've seen a lot of the memes, Weird Al, Josh Groban. I mean, it's just weird. And what's even weirder is that they just like sit there in silence. Like, while everybody else is going at it, everybody else is screaming at each other. You know, of course, we see James throw a drink in Schwartz's face, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But like, and they're just like sitting there calmly, like observing. Like, do they know what they got themselves into?
I don't know. Part of me appreciates it because it's like, okay, they know their place and they know that they're not a cast member on the show and, you know, they need to take a back seat in this scene. But the other part of me is like, this is so weird. Like, I cannot imagine going on, you know, a couple dates with someone, being invited to a beach day and have this chaos ensue and just sit back and be like, yeah, this is normal. Like, it is wild. I did feel bad for him at the end when, you know, Katie and Raquel were going at it and stuff. And it was just like, I would not want to see someone that I was dating, like, get into a fight with someone else, because it makes you see them in a whole new light. And it's like, I wonder how he felt about Katie after that day.
I would almost be interested in seeing Satchel trying to insert himself into this drama, trying to see him go after Sandoval. I'm just now trying to picture that. And that is not something that I want to see. I think that they would rip Satchel to shreds.
Yeah, like with all due, it's like he doesn't have it in him. So I think it's best that he just kind of sits and you know, caresses Katie.
At the beach party, we also got another conversation about the Abbey. So I guess it's finally getting around to Tom Sandoval. I guess he doesn't know that people have seen him and Raquel. So Sheena is the one to approach him and tell him. And like, he immediately goes into defense mode. Like, he's like, why is everybody hating on Raquel? You know, he's like, the Abbey is not the place that I would take a secret rendezvous. I know everybody there. We were in a group. We weren't just dancing, hiding in the corner. And I don't know. I mean, who else was with them? Obviously, nobody else from the show. And according to Allie, all she saw was them. So I don't know who to believe. We're hearing one story from Allie, one story from Sandoval, and it's not adding up.
Totally not adding up. And yeah, I feel like maybe there were other people there at first, but it's like by the time Allie and James saw them, they probably were alone. Like, I believe Allie. And so, you know, he's just trying to deflect and trying to say, like, you know, open relationship, like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And then, you know, oh, but Sheena, if you wouldn't Brock her into it, like, we'd love to have you guys over, you know. So he's going to humor to, like, you know, mask his panicness. What is that word? I guess mask his panic. And it's not natural. Like, you can tell that he's lying. And I would think that, you know, Sheena's known him for so long that I would think she can tell. But I think she just wants to believe that, you know, him and Ariana are solid.
And I just want to talk about the Sandoval timeline here, because as I was thinking about the episode today, which I will be doing for several more days, we are only in like still late August, maybe early September at this point in filming.
Yeah, I think we're in September.
There are already rumors about Sandoval and Raquel going on. And the fact that all of this came out in February, maybe at this point, and it was just a shock to everybody. Like, why was it such a shock if there were already rumors going around? I am getting more and more confused by the day, because I didn't know that Sandoval, Raquel, and Tom was going to be a storyline that was not in the trailer. This was not like part of the original like storyline. And now it's just, it's now just coming out so early that there were already suspicions months before all this came out. So I don't know. Are you as confused as I am?
No, it is very confusing. And it seems like these rumors are only going to start like picking up steam. We got like a preview of next week, and Ken, of all people, is the one dropping a bomb saying that Raquel spent the night at Sandoval's while Ariana was away. So I'm with you. I don't understand how this was so shocking to everyone when it seems like it was going on the whole time. Um, but maybe they dialed it back. I don't know. Maybe this sort of started blowing up and they, said, "Look, we got to put a lid on it." And so they started being more careful. I don't know, but it's very confusing.
So I do want to touch on the James versus Schwartz at the beach real quick because I have a theory about like what is happening. Because Schwartz was just like on fire all episode. He was, firing on all cylinders. He's going after Lala. He's going after James, even though I didn't think that was that much of a dig. I guess bringing up Raquel is still a sore subject for James, but I don't know. I kind of loved the drink throw. I think that Schwartz has been like a little, I don't know, for lack of a better term, pussy the last few episodes. And so James put him in his place. And again, loving James this season. But I think that Schwartz is like reaching a boiling point almost. Like, I think that this thing with Sandoval and Raquel that he has to cover up and keep inside is like getting to him. And I think that's why he's kind of lashing out. Does that make sense to you, or am I crazy?
I don't know. You're definitely not crazy. But I didn't think of it that way. I sort of thought of it as just like he was trying to be funny and like include, make light of the current situation, because it's like they're all together. James and Raquel were engaged. Tom and Raquel have made out. James was with Allie. They're all hanging out. And I think he was just trying to lighten the mood. But it was like it was a poor joke and in like not the right time. But James, it's like you can't do that with him because he's the type of person who will he's a hothead, It's like you say one thing and he will snap. And he did. And, Allie once again was like, "I'm not dealing with this." And then told him later, like, "I don't feel bad for you. You look like an idiot. You make me look like an idiot." So, I mean, granted, it was funny, and he did have some funny things to say, like, your shit bar and poop hole village and all that stuff. But
I am offended.
You're taking that one personally, but still a James fan. So
yeah,
then they migrate from the beach up to a bar. And it is like, oh my God, the energy in this room is just so tense. Like, this is the most miserable beach day that like could ever exist. Like, everyone's just sitting there around with like a drink and they're just like, "Oh, hi." And it's like, what is going on here? Like, there's just so much tension. And then all of a sudden, so Schwartz takes James and Raquel and he's like, "I really want to apologize. Like, let's do a shot together." And then James is like, "I don't want Raquel to be here." So then, okay, so she goes off. Lala comes up. I don't even know what was said, but next thing I know, they are going at it. It was like, rah, 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 rah. And, Lala's telling Schwartz he's broke, like, "Call me when you have a real business." Schwartz saying, like, "You're a bootleg housewife," which I feel like he's used that insult before, but it was still funny. She doesn't know who she is. And it was just like, I didn't expect this I didn't expect this feud to hit us in that scene. Did you?
No, I did not see that coming. I mean, Lala obviously still has hatred over Schwartz hanging out with Randall, but I don't know. I think Schwartz does not stand a chance against Lala. And Katie is also coming for Sandoval once again about the Abbey. She is confronting him about it. And it's just, going off. Basically, I guess that Katie is now learning that Ariana is upset with her for kind of, saying that they're in an open relationship when they're not. And Katie tries to, explain and diffuse the situation. And then we get this confessional from Tom, which is probably the most cringeworthy confessional I have ever seen in Bravo history. The producer straight up asks Tom, "Have you ever been physical with Raquel?" The response we get is the biggest smile I've ever seen. And no. Basically, no, I haven't done anything with Raquel that I wouldn't do with Katie, which is such a weird response. Like, I don't know. That is not convincing to me. Obviously, we know he's lying, and it's just going to keep getting worse next week.
Yeah, he looked like his grin, his gap tooth grin looked like the Mad TV guy. I know you're probably too young to remember that, but like that weird like smile. I don't know. It was just so creepy and awkward. And it was like, oh my God, stop with the lies.
The lies, and it's only going to get worse. But we will be here every week to recap the remaining episodes of Vanderpump Rules. I think there's only a few left before we get to the reunion, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our hot takes and Sandoval updates to come.
I don't know what I'm going to do when this is over, but hopefully something else comes along that will keep us as entertained as this has.
Let's hope OC lives up to this.
Yes.